We continue now at the top of Daf Ayin Beis Amid Beis in Meseches Zevachim. This is Zevachim Daf 72b. On the previous Amid, the Gemara asked, why is it that there's no bittul, there's no nullification in our Mishnah? The case in our Mishnah, again, is you have a situation of an animal that is asur b'hana, for example, a shor haniskal, an ox that is supposed to be stoned. It gets mixed up with other animals that are kachim, that are designated as karbanos. And so again, we say over there is no bittul, there is no nullification. And the Gemara asked, why is it that there's no nullification? Why don't we say that it's batal berov, it's nullified in a majority? And the Gemara said, maybe you will suggest it's because animals are chashivi, animals are considered important, but that's only good according to the one who says, kol shedarko limanos, that anything which generally is counted by unit, but not necessarily always counted by unit, is considered important and not batal. But according to the one who says, es shedarko limanos, which means it has to be exclusively counted by unit, that's the only time it's considered chashiv and not batal, so that answer will not work. And the Gemara is in the middle of bringing a Mishnah in Meseches Arla, which is going to lead to this machlokis of whether we say kol shedarko limanos or whether we say es shedarko limanos. And on the previous Amud, the Mishnah said by chavile tilson, which is bundles of fenugreek, let's say they are kilayim, so yidolku, so they have to be burned. Rashi explains yidolku dichsiv pen tukdash, because it says in the pasuk tukdash, which we darshan to mean tukadesh, it means it has to be burned. And then the Mishnah continues, nisaravu ba'acherim, let's say they get mixed up, let's say there's a mixture now, so then kulan yidolku, then they all have to be burned. Divrei Rebbe Meir, these are the words of Rebbe Meir, meaning to say it's all burned, there is no bittul, there is no nullification. The Chachamim omrim, and the Chachamim say yalu be'echad u'masayim, they can be batal, they can be nullified in 1 in 200, if you have 1 in 200, so then that's enough for nullification. Shahaya Rebbe Meir Omer, because Rebbe Meir says, Kol shedarko limanos mekadesh, anything that is counted by unit, it's mekadesh, again, it creates a prohibition, there's no nullification. The Chachamim Omrim, and the Chachamim say, Eino mekadesh ela shisha devarim bilvad. We only say there's a prohibition by 6 items, and Rabbi Akiva Omer, Rabbi Akiva says shiva by 7 items. And Rashi explains, Be'echru Masayim, again in 201, that's 1 in 200, that's the opinion of the Chachamim. Zui Aliyas Orla V'Kilei HaKerem, that's when it comes to Orla, when it comes to Kilayim, it's 1 in 200. The Truma Ola Be'echru Meya, when it comes to Truma, so there we say there's bittul 1 in 100. V'Kevan Shekafal Eso Isser, and since the Isser is stricter, it's doubled, so to speak, She'isuro Isser Hana, meaning the Isser is something which you can't derive any benefit, so Kafal Es Aliyah, so therefore you also double the amount that is necessary in terms of nullification. Hachitanya la b'sifri, this is what the Brisa says in the Sifri, Gabe mikol chelbos mikdasho mimenu, de mishtoi b'trumas meiser, that pasuk is talking about Trumas Meiser, Shi Echad Mimeya, that's 1 from 100. V'kari le Mikdasho, Mashma Shemekadsho, the word Mikdasho is Mekadsho, meaning Mekadesh as HaMesarvin bo, it makes everything that it's mixed with holy, meaning it creates that prohibition. And Rashi continues, Eino Mekadesh Ela Batil, it's not Mekadesh, meaning again it's nullified, Ela Shisha Devarim Bilvad, except for 6 items which are Mekadesh, Hein Shemekadjin es Kol HaMesarvim Bohen, they're Mekadesh anything they are mixed with, Mitoch Shein Gedolim, since they're big, Udemei and Yikarim, and they're expensive, V'chashuv Beminon, and they're important among their types, and so therefore again only by these 6 items there's no nullification, otherwise there is nullification. And again the Mishnah said, Rabbi Akiva Omer Shiva, Rabbi Akiva said 7 items, and the Mishnah continues, Ve'eluhain, and these are the items. Egoze Perech, nuts of Perech, that's the name of a place according to Rashi. Verimone Badan, and pomegranates of Badan, also the name of a place according to Rashi. Vechevio Stumos, and sealed barrels of wine. Vechilfe Turadin, and beet greens. Vekilche Kruv, and cabbage stalks. Vidalas Yevonis, and Greek gourd. Rabbi Akiva Mosif Afki Karo Shel Balabayis, Rabbi Akiva again, who says 7 items, he says even the loaves of a Balabayas, the loaves of a private individual. And Haroi La Orla, the items that were listed over here that could be Orla, so we're talking about Orla. Haroi La Kilei HaKerem, and those items which can be Kilayim, Kilei HaKerem, Kilayim of the vineyard, Kilei HaKerem, so we're talking about the Isser of Kilayim. And the Gemara continues, V'itmar Allah, and was stated on this Mishnah, Rabbi Yochanan Amar, Rabbi Yochanan says, Es shedarko limnos shaninu, when it says, when Rabbi Meir says in the Mishnah, Kol shedarko limnos, it actually should be Es shedarko limnos. It means that which is exclusively counted by units. And Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish Amar, Reish Lakish says, Kol shedarko limnos shaninu. The Mishnah just means, if it can be counted by unit, but it doesn't have to exclusively be counted by unit. And so the Gemara now says, Hanichol l'Reish Lakish, the answer answer we gave on the previous Amud, that animals are considered to be chashuv, they're considered to be important, and that's why they're not batal, that works according to Reish Lakish. Kol shedarko limanos, animals can be included in kol shedarko limanos. Elul Rabbi Yochanan ma'ikol lemeimer, but according to Rabbi Yochanan, who says it has to be exclusively counted by unit, es shedarko limnos. So what are we going to say according to Rabbi Yochanan? And the Gemara says, Amar Rav Papa says, Hi Tana, the Tana of our Mishnah is Tana de Litra Ketsiosu. That is the Tana of the Brisa, which we'll bring in a moment. The Brisa of Litra Ketsios, that refers to the litra of dried figs, the Amar that says, and Rashi explains, Kol haroy la'orla, orla, whatever items are fit to be orla, we're talking about orla, meaning masha yesh be'ilan, meaning anything in this list that comes from a tree, min ilan v'roy la'orla, so that comes from a tree, and therefore it's roy la'orla, it's fit for orla, mekadesh esei ruvo, so it will be mekadesh, whatever gets mixed with, be'isr orla, with the prohibition of orla, and we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Ayin Gimel Amud Aleph.